This episode is sponsored by Where to Shop and Dine. Download the app on Google Play Store or Apple App Store today. Connecting colleges and communities. Hi, welcome back, and you're watching Scene TV, Schenectady Cable Entertainment News and Events. What a great lineup we have today on Scene TV. I'd like to welcome my friend Ange Morse. Welcome to Scene TV.
Thank you, Maya.
Yes, you're the
Appreciate
executive director of the Human Rights Commission here in Schenectady.
Yes.
And it's a pleasure to see you and have you on the show. So let's recap. So I know it's a long story, but let's recap what's happening in your career here in Schenectady. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on the show.
My pleasure.
We are friends, and so, just want to say thank you for having me and the opportunity to share about who I am and also share about my agency. How I got to where I'm at, I am a native of Binghamton, New York. That is where the infamous Binghamton University is. I came here to go to school at UAlbany, well, first Hudson Valley, then UAlbany. But what brought me here was my mother got remarried. But I've been here ever since. I got my degrees in political science, public policy. I've been working in my degrees since I graduated, and prior to that I did an internship at the state legislature. Originally I wanted to go to law school, either Albany Law or Syracuse Law, to practice law. Wanted to be a prosecutor. But then when I did the internship at the New York State Assembly, I fell in love with not only the politics piece of it, but the governance piece of how a bill becomes a law and things go in committee, and then the advocacy as well as the lobbying piece and how everything comes together. And my assembly member at the time, who I interned for, he sat me down and kind of talked to me with as a father figure, as a mentor, and shared with me about you don't have to go to law school to work in politics. Save yourself $150,000. And
well, that was wise.
That was very wise. And so I thought about that and getting more involved in being an intern, and then from there I was hired to be a full-time staffer. I fell in love with the politics and the public policy piece. About a year or two after that, I went to go work for former Mayor Brian Stratton as his secretary. Worked in the office, the mayor's office, for a while.
What did you enjoy about that?
I enjoyed, one, learning about city government, how city government worked from how the state government and how the state operated, as well as learning about the city of Schenectady and the interaction between the residents in the mayor's office, as well as living 5 minutes.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's
job.
what catapulted you to become the first African American, not to mention the youngest,
Yes.
executive director for the Schenectady Human Rights Commission? Do you think that helped you?
I believe it did help me in a way, but my help really to get me where I'm at is about paying your dues, waiting my turn, staying in my lane, meaning working with the older folks within the community who was mentoring me. It's all about mentorship. It's all about succession plan. Getting with the group of people or surrounding yourself with people that you want to become. And that's one thing that my mother taught us.
Yeah, there's definitely value in that.
My mother taught me that be around people that you want to become, learn from your past mistakes, that a mistake is not your identity, is just an event, and get around quality and substance and people of substance. And so I always took those to heart. And so I jumped on an opportunity. The opportunity presented itself to me to go work with Governor Spitzer at the time. And I really did not want to leave Mayor Stratton in the city at the time, but it was an opportunity. It was a new challenge. And so I jumped on that. I was able to work with the governor, Spitzer, Patterson, and then current governor, Andrew Cuomo.
Wow,
then,
quite the resume.
And then from there, the opportunity presented itself for me to be executive director of the agency that I was part of for now going on 11 years. I started as a board member and I was a young board member and worked diligently on that, stayed in my lane. I always sought out advice, as well as gird up the wisdom of those older members on the board at the time. And then the opportunity presented itself when they needed a chair of the board, and they sought me out and asked me to take on that responsibility. And again, I surrounded myself with people that had the wisdom of the organization, surrounded myself with people that saw the potential and the greatness in me, and that I didn't see, but they always encouraged me, and you can do this. Doesn't matter if you're young, doesn't matter that you're a different color than other folks, you can do this. And so
indeed,
I worked.
You have done amazing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Been amazing. So you're fighting for the rights of the community. Speak on that as your role as the executive director. So
my role as executive director is to work with all local agencies in Schenectady County and some in the region. Since I've taken this role, there's folks around the region has called my office and to help, and I take priority with Schenectady County issues first. But because of our department is the only active Human Rights Commission in the Capital Region, I act as an informational and referral agency where people call me from Albany, Troy, Saratoga, and they ask me questions.
Yeah, you're like the gateway.
The gateway. As a high school student, called me the fixer, like of Olivia Pope. But I give out information. If they ask a question and it does relate to their community, I give them consultation. I advise them, but the information to seek out the agency in their local county or community that they can go to. And then I also connect them with my professional connections that they can seek out as well, and let them know that they talk to me and that they could get that information.
Why is the Human Rights Commission important to Schenectady, or even to any region?
It's very important because it's an alternate community resource that the community can use to address and meet their needs. We are an agency that we work with everybody, and it is my job to be out and about in the community. If I'm in the office 9 to 5, I'm not doing my job. My job is not a typical 9 to 5. My job is very fluid. It's very flexible. There's a day that I have nothing going on and I'm in the office, and then all of a sudden I get a phone calls, and I'm out of the office and I'm not coming home till 11 o'clock at night. There's days also where I'm in meetings from 7 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night, meetings, events, helping people with evictions, helping people with DSS issues, working with DSS in the community. So though my job is very flexible and fluid, but the Human Rights Commission is a community alternate resource the community can use. Now the commission is a board of volunteers that the county appoints, and their job strictly is to oversight as well as to put on our annual events that we have every year, and to work with me as executive director to address the issues.
Is the Human Rights Commission a nonprofit?
No, we are not a nonprofit. We are a government entity.
Okay. So speak on that so we can explain it a little better so that we can understand.
So the Human Rights Commission is a government entity. It's under Schenectady County, but it operates independently. So we are an agent. It's an agency, or as a organization, again, community alternate that meets the needs and addresses the needs of the community. So the three things that it does is make awareness of issues that's impacting and affecting, bringing education on the issues. So education on poverty, housing discrimination, whatever it's affecting and impacting the community, and the community wants the commission to address, then
So you're like a voice?
We are, yes, it's a voice, but we also give information, awareness, and education.
So partnership, collaboration?
Collaboration, and support. We support everybody, and that's my job, is to go out to be the liaison of the commission and the community liaison between the commission and the county. We work with all county agencies. We work with city government, all the municipalities. So I work with a lot of the elected officials, the business leaders, and the school districts, all 6 or 7 counties, school districts in the county, the school superintendents, principals, teachers, everybody, to make sure everybody's rights are protected and respected, making sure that our kids are getting a quality education in the spirit of excellence, and making sure that their needs and their rights are being protected at the same time, as well as educating people on the New York State human rights laws regarding prohibiting discrimination in the 4 areas of employment: housing discrimination, public accommodations, that means hotels, restaurants, malls, and within credit. And the protected classes, race, age, creed, sexual orientation, gender, veteran status, familial status, and the list goes on. So that is my role, is to partner and collaborate with everybody, but as well as to work with my board to make sure that our annual events are put on, to make sure that the community knows the issues, and how we do that is a community forum, town halls, and round table discussions.
So, wow, you're doing so much. It sounds like there's no balance. For you, because if you're running at 11 o'clock at night and 7 in the morning, you're burning your candles at both ends. How are you finding balance? Well,
how I find balance, and I learned this about a couple years ago. When I first got the job, I was very zealous, I was very energetic, and my predecessor, who is one of my strongest allies and my mentor, Brian Wright, he talked to me, he says, Ange, pace yourself. Number 2, don't burn yourself out. And number 3, take care of you. Take care of you. Make sure that you're not the end all and be all. You can't be everywhere and everything to people. And the word no is very important. And so I learned that. And now, for the last 2 years, I have balance in my life. Some people think that I don't sleep. Some people think that I'm constantly on the go and I'm everywhere. That's not true. I have balance in my life. And I've learned in life that balance is the key to success in making you effective and impactful. And so how I have balances in my life is I don't carry business cards on the weekends unless if I'm doing I'm at a work-related event, and after my work-related event, I go home and I change. No business cards. Also, I say no. I decline a lot of speaking engagements, a lot of invitations to go to events, and I pick and choose the events that I go to. First, the events that I go to are work-related, and a lot of events that I go to are related because they're in the protected classes of the New York State human rights laws, as well as community events. And third of all, I make sure that I take care of myself, and how I do that is I work out. I've been an athlete all my life. I make sure that I stay healthy, I stay fit, and I have balance in every area of my life, emotionally, mentally, because this job is very demanding, emotionally and mentally. And the needs of the community is very high demand, emotional, as well as needy. So I make sure I get the balance, and I work out at least 4 to 5 days a week, either early morning, or if I don't have no events on at nighttime, I go right after work. And I make sure I get my workout in, because that helps me de-stress, and it also helps me spiritually, so I don't take out my issues on anybody else, because I work with people. I can't escape people, because people are everywhere, and I'm a person and I can't escape myself. So I make sure balance is a key, and I work hard and I play hard. And when there's a slow time in the summertime, I take vacations. My first 2 years of the job, I did not take vacation. Now I take vacation, I de-stress, I regroup, I recharge, and I get back into what the job wants me to do.
Well, great, and you're doing such a great job, and you're so passionate about it as well.
Absolutely.
So what change or policy betterment are you looking to improve, or is there no policy? Because I know it's like alternative community resources that you're working with. So what are you looking to better with the Schenectady Human Rights Commission?
Well, the policies is the board basically brings oversight They implement internal policies as well as a direction and give direction of the commission. My vision regarding the issues impacting our community is basically making the community aware of the issues, really educating them on how to address an issue and bringing corrective change, bringing change to a solution to a problem. And how you do that is making sure people knows the information, they're aware of that, they're educated, and we give them the information to bring about that change of an action plan. Great. Not to come up with things and not follow up with them, but to talk about it, implement the issue as an action plan, and take action, because you won't bring change to a community or to your neighborhood until you decides to bring that change and you make a difference. It's all about making a difference. It's not about being self-serving. It's not about doing it because you want a next title or position. It's not about that. It's about making a change, making a difference, taking responsibility and accountability for your actions, maturing in areas, being decisive, sticking to values and principles, as well as being consistent, holding elected officials accountable and responsible, holding our educators responsible and accountable for the policies that are being made in our schools relating to our kids, making sure that our neighborhood associations and our neighborhood leaders and our neighborhoods are being taken care of, and our neighbors are taking action, speaking up, speaking out on the issues that they see that is wrong. When you see an injustice, you speak out on the injustice, but you do things not in an intimidating or threatening way, but you come together as a community, you talk about the issues, you make a plan up, and you implement that, and you bring everybody to the table. Even if you disagree with them, you're bringing people together.
Yeah, communication can definitely iron out a lot of different problems if they arise. But you know, I grabbed a quote out of the Woman at Work magazine that you were so beautifully
thank you.
On the cover, and just a beautiful article. And one of the things that you said in here that I want to quote your quote: "Don't be afraid to be a risk taker, and if you make a mistake, it's just an event, right? And it's not your identity." So when people are out there and they're taking on new challenges and new risks, it's okay if they fail. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. You're very passionate about the Human Rights Commission. So what has been your biggest challenge right now in your journey with your job?
My biggest challenge is I have no staff. I run the agency by myself. However, I think that's, for me, is not a challenge. That actually helps me strengthen my skills as not only an executive, but also as a professional, and utilizing people around me as a support base. The support base that I've built around me to help me with the day-to-day in the office is my board, as well as the Martin Luther King Coalition that I work with very well with. Those folks work very well with me, as well as the community agencies and organizations that I partner with, and the county legislature and elected officials has been very supportive. Anything that I need, people are saying, "Ange, what can I do to help you? If you need me, call me." So that is the biggest challenge, but it's also is the biggest blessing for me, because in the role, because I do have no staff, it helps me to show me my weaknesses and my strength, and I surround myself with people who has my strengths as well as my weaknesses that can compensate for where the weaknesses are. So my background, I have a lot of executive management and executive administration. I do my own scheduling. I return phone calls promptly, because when you return phone calls and emails promptly, that makes people feel valuable and appreciated. I do utilize help, and I'm not the independent person that I used to be. And so not having staff actually helps me to become better and to show me I can't do this alone.
Great, great. Are there any events coming up for the Human Rights Commission?
Yeah. So we in January is our start off for the Human Rights Commission's season, and that works where the Martin Luther King Coalition, which is under the Schenectady County Human Rights Commission but operates independently, puts on the Martin Luther King celebration. And the King Coalition has been around for 30 years. So this year, 2017, January 15th, will be our 30th anniversary celebration.
30 years.
30 years.
And how long have you been a partner at the Human Rights Commission?
I've been part of the agency for 11, but I've been with the coalition for about 9. So working with the coalition as a board, as a board member, commissioner, and then as the board chair, I was very involved working with the MLK Coalition, but now as the executive director, working very closely with them. We meet on a regular basis. We work together on planning the event and what the event should look like. And within the last year, we've decided to do a community forum prior to the event to address the issues of the community. If Dr. King was here alive, what would he say about issues of education, poverty, racial discrimination? What would he say about women's rights, and things like that? So prior to our events now, the King Coalition celebration service, we do a community forum. And this year in January, we did a community forum on what would Dr. King say and do about the African American community. And then we talked about the issues of that prior to the event. This year for 17, we're going to do a community forum on education. What would Dr. King say and do about the educational system? And we have our guest speaker for that celebration service is Dr. Steve Perry that would be coming. He's a national author, speaker, and educator. So he's going to be our keynote speaker for that day.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm in the planning stages now.
And do you need volunteers or help? And how can someone get in touch with you? Where are you located? All that good stuff.
Yep. So if anyone wants to volunteer at the event as a volunteer to be a greeter or an usher, they could contact me at the Human Rights Office at 518-377-3823. And then they can leave a message if I'm not there. I always return my phone calls.
You
promptly.
do indeed.
And if I am there, they will be honored to hear my voice. And I will get them involved with the coalition, and we definitely we always welcome volunteers. We have volunteers. For the last 3 or 4 years, we had our youth services organizations bring their youth. So we have Youth Build to be volunteers. This year, the Schenectady Y Black and Latino Achievers program will be volunteering. Youth Build is on board. So we always have volunteers to always extend their assistance to us whenever we need them, as well as we always volunteers ourselves too to help with organizations, whatever they need. So they could contact me there. We're at 797 Broadway, third floor, room 305. They could contact me there. I have to say, I'm not in the office a lot because I'm out and about in the community doing the work of the people, but they could contact me at my office. And I'm always accessible.
Is that the Lottery Building?
No, it's the Broadway building right there, the DSS building.
Oh, okay.
Where we have DSS and we're on the 3rd floor. But I'm very accessible. I'm very reachable, either in the office or even my work cell. People contact me there, and I'm also on Facebook, but mainly I'm out in the community.
Okay.
So people could reach me. I'm very approachable. I'm very understanding and very flexible with my schedule, because it's all about making a difference and making sure people's needs are met in an appropriate way, as well as in a professional way, but making people feel loved and appreciated and valued. Because in this line of work, I don't get appreciation all the time. I don't get the thank yous, but because it's the work of the people and making a difference. If someone says, thank you, Ange, or we appreciate you, I know that it's right to do right, because people needs to make sure that their rights are protected and respected on a regular basis, and someone is fighting for them on a daily basis, even though they may not know someone's fighting for it. It's my job to say, I'm with you, I'm for you, I support you, and I understand your issue, and I will do what I can to make a difference, even if I can't promise a guarantee that there will be a resolution,
my friend.
I will make sure that your voice is being not only heard, but you are being heard as well.
Yeah, that's just beautiful. And you are so passionate, and you are a girl that's getting it done. So before we wrap up and close, is there anything else you'd like to share? Any closing remarks to add to our lovely interview? It was so wonderful to spend such great time with you.
First of all, I want to say thank you to you for bringing people like myself on to let the community know who we are, what we do, and other agencies that are doing great work that doesn't get the publicity or the recognition. And because of your platform that you're doing that, I want to say thank you for what you do, and continue to do the great work that you're doing in the area of media, because right now media is being in the attack for saying this and that, but because you're doing it on a local level, make sure that you recognize those groups and individuals that are doing great work that no one recognizes them, but that you are the platform to say thank you and to give them some type of exposure. And that's what it's all about, to making people say thank you for what they do, even though they may not feel that they're being recognized. And what you're doing is wonderful work. What you're doing is also in the line of social justice and human rights, is making sure people have a voice and making sure that people's voices are being heard and that their issues are being addressed. So I want to say thank you to that, as well as the community, making sure that they are aware of issues and that they are being empowered and inspired to make a difference in their community, to be accountable and responsible, as well as to bring positive change to a wrong result. And so just being a light in a dark situation will bring smiles and bring joy to people who may not have joy. So that's my job, is to help people help themselves, as well as to make sure everybody's rights are protected and respected. And I love what I do. I really do.
Yeah. So. Well, with that, we'll just say thank you so much for watching Scene TV. And Ange Morse, it is always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you,
Thank
Maya.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. That's it.